Well, the topics of sexual assault, sex trafficking, consent, they've all been at the center of the news cycle recently, with the trial for the 5 ex-World Junior hockey players currently taking place in London, Ontario, and in New York, the Sean Diddy Combs court case.
Yeah, and we are all being exposed to the conversations of boundaries, consent, and trauma. And these high-profile cases might also be on your children's social media feeds. So how do we talk to kids about sexual assault and not shy away from these difficult but important conversations? Well, joining us live now to help unpack this heavy topic is psychotherapist Ivana Kolakovic. Good morning, Ivana. Thanks so much for coming in this morning to talk about this. I know it's not an easy conversation. I mean, some kids right now, right before 8 o'clock, might be watching, so we have to be sensitive to that. But where do you begin with young children, especially? Should you voluntarily tell them about this before they see it on their social media feeds? Is it when they ask you a question? How do you approach talking to children about it? Do you use baby words? Do you use grown-up words? It's a lot.
It's a very good question, though. I think it's both. Because with social media and their exposure to everything that is happening on Instagram, TikTok, and all of that, they know these things.
Yeah.
And they initiate these conversations with their peers. So it's good that you actually initiate these conversations with them so they don't start to develop the understanding that is not correct and that it is about scandal and about who is right, who is wrong, but that they have actually a safe space where they can talk about these things.
And I suppose that's got to be key, too, is as a parent or a guardian or whoever, you've got to make them feel comfortable having that conversation. You can't automatically kind of be on your heels or like on heightened alert, right? The way you bring it up as well.
Yes, and we have to normalize talking about these things. We have to talk about boundaries. We have to talk about sex. We have to talk about consent. We have to provide this education to kids so they can know what they're working with. Because they go into the world, and if they don't have that knowledge, if they don't have the freedom to come to you and say, hey, Mom, can I talk to you about this? Then the scary things can happen, actually.
Yeah, and I understand being sensitive to the diversity in our country, in our city, that across cultures, this is also very different because culturally, some families, especially East Asian families growing up, it was shunned upon. Every time there was a kissing scene or something sexual on TV, they're like, look away, 黄色, which means it's like perverted. And then you create this feeling like anything sex-related is dirty or bad.
Wrong.
So let's say something happens to your child, they feel the shame. But shame and silence is what fuels, sexual predators and perpetrators. God forbid anything happens. But so we need to open up that conversation and be real with them about it, right?
Exactly. We have to really normalize these conversations. We have to give them words. We have to provide education. We have to tell them that these are things that we all experience as humans. And as we go into the world, it's important to be equipped with the knowledge.
Do we underestimate what kids know or what kids can actually handle in terms of these conversations? Do we think maybe we baby them too much or treat them as sort of not mature enough?
Sometimes parents feel very protective and they don't want to expose kids to something that is potentially triggering for them. However, if you know that at school they will talk about this to their peers, or when they open their social media accounts, they will see these stories. Again, it's very important that you find a language to talk to them about these things. We don't want to use terms that are scary. We can use their language to describe these things that are words that are very simple, that are very kind of approachable so they can get it, okay? That it's not something that is out there in the world, but that they can feel, again, equipped to deal with these things.
Right. There seems to be a fine line between wanting to inform our kids, but also the fear of traumatizing them with the seriousness and scariness of the cases as well. So very quickly, Ivana, what are some kind of, I don't know if you have any keywords or just opening sentences for how you should talk about their kids so that they feel like they're not in trouble?
about specifically what is happening, you want to kind of probe if they've heard something.
Yeah.
You know, and you want to be attuned to your child. You want to see what is happening for them emotionally. If you're sensing that they're having these conversations with their peers, right, you want to bring them next to you and then to slowly approach the topic by saying, have you heard something? What do you think? You want to validate and normalize whatever the reaction is.
Yeah.
Sometimes they get scared. Sometimes they get a little bit panicked. Sometimes they try to pick a side and all
Or
of
make
that.
a joke out of it,
Or
maybe
make
even.
a joke.
Yeah.
For sure, for sure. So you want to, again, with that validation and by normalizing their feelings, when you say something like everything belongs here in these conversations, they actually feel safe.
That's some great
so you
advice.
want to
Yeah.
create that kind of environment that nothing is foreign to you, that
Yeah.
you can go places with them and that you will be there to support them.
All right.
Absolutely.
Psychotherapist Ivana Kolakovic, thank you so much for the time this morning.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
these tips.
Thank
it's very
you,
important.
Ivana.
Important
Nice to meet you.
conversations
Thank
indeed.
you.